What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Caro Emerald. Shout out once again to Jim, and we're returning to the 2013 album, The Shocking Miss Emerald. And the next track is Excuse My French, which I thought was sort of an American phrase, but she's from the Netherlands, and presumably English is not her original language, though her singing, I should say in English, you would never know that, so perhaps she learned English at a very young age, perhaps just like many Europeans, she's multilingual from a young age. In any case, the phrase, as used here, is when people use profanity. So they'll say a swear word and they'll say, excuse my French, which I always wonder what the French thought about that. It's like, well, but you didn't actually say French, you just said a swear word in your own language. But yes, so I wonder if there's a trick to the phrase here. I wonder if it's actually in relation to someone speaking French or speaking in France. It might really just be the way that the phrase is used here and apparently elsewhere, that someone is swearing and then feeling a bit bad about it afterward, and so saying pardon my French or excuse my French. So yeah, I would expect it to either be on the nose or perhaps a bit misleading or have multiple meanings in the context of a narrative, which again, a lot of Caro songs that I've heard so far, there are these stories where there's people on boats and having parties and drinking and all sorts of shenanigans. So let's see what I can pick up on a first listen as Luca continues to sleep. This is Caro Emerald, the track is Excuse My French, and it's from her 2013 album, The Shocking Miss Emerald. Phonograph.
I don't know what you must be on. You walked in like the Aga Khan. Did you fly in on a jet? Win $1 million bet. So let me get my good shoes on. I wanna follow in the same old steps, where you waltz around like you're the best, where your garden blooms in May, but it's snowing every day, 'cause you have everything you want. You must be the Houdini in my life, but you can't see. I could never be your wife, 'cause I'm still a lady. No, I'm not some wench that
another highly compelling song. There's basically nothing she does that I don't like, at least over the course of a couple albums at this point. So yeah, a bit more oldie-timey than some of the tunes. We did have a tiny bit of, you know, turntablism, voice scratching, but for the most part that one felt a bit more oldie-timey, including that part where it sounded like there was a bit of surface noise, like it was deliberately done in the style of a phonograph record. But yeah, it sounds like it's a guy who's trying to be a bit too clever, trying to talk about, oh, I've been all these places and I know all these things and don't you find me alluring and compelling? And she's saying, yeah, I don't actually believe you've been there. You don't have any stamps on your passport and, you know, your routine, it's just wearing thin, it's getting spent, I'm not really buying it. And maybe it would have worked before, but now it's just kind of this cyclone of words that I'm not really buying into. And by the way, I could never be your wife because you're clearly looking for someone who's a bit too simplistic, someone who's a bit too easy. I'm still a lady, I'm not a wench. And so she's essentially dismissing the guy. And I don't know if the line about Houdini is him attempting to pull sleight of hand or a magic trick, or he's like disappearing from her life because she's just getting over this and she doesn't see a future, and he's like dreaming about this future, but she's saying like, you're dreaming alone. Like, you might have this fantasy of what could happen or what you think should have happened, but it's just you. I'm not actually there in that vision. So again, I don't know if the Houdini line is about him disappearing, not intentionally, but as far as she's concerned, from her life, or whether it's more like he's trying to pull a magic trick and make her believe something about him that actually isn't true. Either way, it sounds like it's not going to work out for him and that he's got the wrong idea of the type of woman he's dealing with. So I like the self-confidence and insistent point that like, no, I'm still a lady, I'm not a wench, I'm not the easy girl that you're looking for, and I'm not just going to be your wife cuddled up next to you. I have, you know, my own standards and you don't live up to it, and you're not as jet-setting and compelling as you seem to present yourself as. So I like the lyrics as far as I caught them. Again, there's a full story, even if we're just getting kind of the emotions and the perceptions. There's an implied background of like physical activity in the narrative. Sonically, love the smooth and slow brass in the tune. I like, there was like this wood tap percussion rhythm that I was hearing in the background. You really kind of had to focus on it, but a bit of a like woodpecker sound. And yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the phonograph part, I enjoyed the old stylings, but with a bit more modern production, although in this case, again, the modern sounds were relatively minimal, whereas in some of the previous ones, there's more of like a modern hip-hop meets old-style jazz fusion. So again, there's like no foot that she puts wrong, so to speak, musically on her two albums that I've heard so far. I enjoy her voice, it's always fun, and the way she spins her stories, it's like she's really doing something autobiographical, even if that's not the case. Maybe a lot of these stories aren't based on her own experiences and relationships, but she spins the narrative and delivers the lines as if you believe you're hearing the character in the track. So once again, shout out to Jim, shout out to Caro. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.